Rangers Journal.
Hello and welcome to the Rangers Journal. My name is Kai Watson and today we're going to talk about the rumours of West Ham fullback Ben Johnson coming to Rangers. Rumours surfaced about a month ago that this deal was potentially going to be a goer, but it seemed very likely that it was going to sign for Crystal Palace. So let's look into it. So the first tweet on screen we're going to look at is one from West Ham Central. It states West Ham fullback Ben Johnson is set to deliver Rangers a transfer snub and sign for Crystal Palace. Johnson is almost certainly heading to fellow Premier League Londoners Crystal Palace, where he would become the first signing of new Eagles boss Oliver Glasner, and that was from the Records Report. I think the wages around the time kind of signified that Crystal Palace seemed like a better choice. There were reports, obviously unconfirmed, that Johnson was asking for around 50k per week, which is obviously something Rangers can't afford, something that would be more likely at Palace, especially with him being a homegrown player. Their form towards the end of the season and some of the signings they're looking to make you think that Glasnow's probably looking to push them into that top half and maybe try and get a European place next season. So it would make sense for them to spend that kind of money on a player like Johnson, who's only 24 and obviously homegrown. But it's the type of wage that Rangers just can't throw about. So when that story came about, it didn't seem likely. And then when the Palace interest came about, it just seemed like that was a much better fit than I'm heading to Ibrox. However, that was posted on the 1st of May, and on the 1st of June with a post from the fourth official as an exclusive that says, I can confirm that Rangers have an interest in Ben Johnson. This is after talking with several sources, including West Ham Insider and its ex-West Ham United employee on Twitter, who I'm sure you'll all come across before. So that's a really interesting one. It seemed weird that the Palace kind of deal never got confirmed. They've moved ahead with a lot of transfers and making some really interesting deals this summer. I think they're going to be an exciting side next season. But it doesn't seem like they're going ahead with the Ben Johnson deal, and it definitely doesn't seem like West Ham are going to offer him a new deal. Like I said previously, obviously it's very, very unconfirmed reports that he was looking for 50k, but that was kind of the noise on Twitter around West Ham fans and West Ham Twitter pages that Johnson was looking for 50k a week, which again, Rangers simply can't afford, especially for someone that plays in a position that the captain plays in. So that's why this is such an interesting deal. That Dujon Sterling is naturally a right back. He obviously played very well in central midfield and he done a job at right wing as well. But again, he's naturally a full back, and so is Ben Johnson. As much as Johnson can play on the left, he's naturally a right back. So it's interesting that someone that would command a pretty high wage, obviously coming in on a free transfer, would be of interest to Rangers. Does it mean Tavernier's going to be in the move? I mean, not necessarily. It all depends on where kind of the manager sees Dujon Sterling's position in the future. Does he see him as a central midfielder? Does he see him as a winger? Does he see him as a right back? If you actually look into the article, which I'll leave in the link below, it does say that the deal is with a view to Ben Johnson being Tavernier's successor. But how true that is, we really don't know. It'll be interesting to see if it does come in, kind of what happens with Tavernier. If he does stay, if he decides to go, if it's not so much a succession plan over years, but a immediate succession plan. So again, it's an interesting one to keep an eye on. Then the next slide we're going to look at shows the profile of Ben Johnson. So I've done this on the 1st of May when the interest was kind of first announced and first came about. So obviously Ben Johnson, 24 years old, English, he's 6 foot, currently plays for West Ham, even though his contract's expiring at the end of this month. Transfer market having valued at the time of doing that at 7.5 million. So looking at some of his key stats, in 14 appearances this season, only 4 have been from the start. Averages 82.1% pass accuracy, 48.3 long ball accuracy, 48.7% dribble success per 90, 1.17 fouls on per 90, 63.6% tackles on per 90, 46.2% duels won per 90, 36.8% aerial duels won per 90, 0.84 interceptions per 90, and a very impressive 8.20 recoveries per 90. So the interesting thing with Ben Johnson is he's an athletic and aggressive defender, kind of like we've seen with other links, the likes of Jose Cordoba, likes of Thomas Galdames. These athletic, kind of built defenders that will run through a brick wall for you. Very aggressive defenders are obviously good in the press. So it's interesting that Clement obviously seems to be wanting to up the athleticism and defence. Biggest issue with Johnson is something that people might not see as an issue because there's obviously a lot of fans that want our main creative threat to stop being the right back, which obviously Johnson wouldn't be. He's not a creator, he's a decent crosser of the ball, granted, but he's not going to be the James Tavernier type, which, again, like I just said, a lot of fans will appreciate that and kind of let the midfielders and the forwards do the creating up top and kind of get the goals as well. That's not what you're going to get from Johnson. You're going to get someone who can be a good defender. He's kind of prone to defensive lapses, which you've kind of seen if you've watched him. It's just I don't know if it's a concentration thing. It's kind of similar to John Souttar, like when he's on his game, he's a good defender and you can't take that away from him. He's very athletic, but he does just have those lapses in concentration that can sometimes cost the team. So it's obviously something worth looking at. And again, he can play right back and left back. He's comfortable on either side, but obviously naturally a right back. So it'd be very interesting to see, considering he's a player that wants 50 grand potentially. Obviously, that's hearsay and rumours. 50k from West Ham per week. Rangers are probably going to be having to pay kind of that 30, 35,000 a week mark. And if it's somebody that's not going to be a starter, we just can't afford as a club to go down that route again, that you're paying Premier League players, players coming from the Championship. You just can't afford to be giving those wages out unless one, the player's guaranteed to be available, and two, they're going to be a very key kind of part of the team going forward. One thing Johnson obviously has for him is that Premier League experience that he brings. He's got 109 appearances so far for West Ham, 10 caps for England under 21 level, which is obviously nothing to be snuffed at. The kind of level that England bring through under 21s is very high. So the fact he's managed 10 caps here, he's obviously not pushed into the national team, but he's not been able to push into the West Ham team. So that's not overly surprising. I think the big thing about this deal for me would be the wages. It's not one I'm very excited about, but I'm on the kind of level that I don't want our main goal scoring creative threat to be the right back. I want the right back to be able to be someone that can create, someone that can deliver those deadly crosses, someone that will pop up with goals now and then, or something that looks like Hefty's going to bring in. That a player that's capable of taking on defenders, capable of getting to the byline, cutting inside, getting a shot away. I'd want someone that can kind of do it on both ends. And again, if he keeps concentration, keeps the head, Johnson is a good defender. I cannot take that away from him. And he's very athletic. He can bomb up and down the line. It's just that final ball that's the type of thing that could be a concern for me. But like I said, many fans don't want the right back to be the main creative threat. So this might be a very exciting signing for some fans. Again, just to reiterate, and the final point to end on is this would all come down to the wages for me. If he's going to be the first choice right back, if James Tavernier's been sold, and for whatever fee you get for him, get his wages off the books. If you're bringing in Ben Johnson to be your starting right back and 30 grand a week, then I'm okay with that. Like I said, over 100 appearances for West Ham. He's obviously got something about him being through the kind of England setup at the youth levels. He's an athletic player. He's obviously got European experience as well. There's something about him. It's just it's not one that excites me, especially when you're looking at James Tavernier still being there and that uncertainty around Dujon Sterling. I would rather Dujon Sterling be the right back going forward and kind of fill the midfield with more natural midfielders that have kind of that are a bit better technically, whereas you'd have to polish some of Dujon Sterling's game. He's obviously got the energy to play in central midfield, but I don't think technically he's at the level that we need to be to kind of win trophies and progress in Europe. So I think right back's a perfect spot for him. So I just feel like the wages on Ben Johnson's a bit of a waste when you could spend it on kind of quality midfielder or quality forward. But I'd love to know what your thoughts are on it. Please leave in the comments below. What do you think of this potential deal? Would you be excited to sign Ben Johnson? Is something you think we should stay away of? And also let me know where you think Dujon Sterling's position should be next season. Should he be a centre mid? Should he be a winger? Should he be playing at right back? Where would you play Dujon Sterling? And again, if you enjoy the content, don't forget to like and subscribe and have a great day.